as presence. From the habitual mind's perspective, there is something we need to do it right, to do it correctly. But as being, it's a simple recognition that in your experience in this moment, all is well and all is complete. Nothing lacking, nothing in excess. Although in our experience, there seems to be a me, a personal self, that must accomplish, must improve, must attain certain goals. Although we feel and believe that we are this person, we are this form, this body-mind, with a separate reality, a separate will, a separate consciousness, a separate existence. In fact, we are never apart from the source. Like a flower that blooms is not apart from the bush or the plant out of which it bloomed. Similarly, in your experience, every moment is a blooming. Out of the source, like a rose blooms out of the rose bush. In your experience, each moment there is a blooming of the source which appears to you as the sense of I, and appears to you as this perception, as an image, as a sensation, as the world, as the body. Moment by moment, there is a blooming. And you are the entirety, the totality, the ensemble of all blooming. Like the blooming rose on the rose bush is the entire bush, the entire bloomingness. A rose that blooms on the rose bush is not blooming out of its own personal will, because there is no personal will. It blooms out of the source without any separate will or separate doership. Similarly, in your experience moment by moment, is the silent touch, the silent still hand of consciousness. The separate doer that you feel you are and you believe you are, is an erroneous model which is similar to a wave, believing that it is waving out of its own personal will, overlooking that in fact its waviness is the doing of the ocean, the doing of the water, the silent presence within you that permeates your entire experience. Is your reality, and it is the reality of every rose that is blooming on the bush, and it is the reality of every wave that is appearing on the surface of the ocean, and is the reality of every current that is manifesting within the ocean. Look how the stream flows through the riverbed effortlessly, gracefully, without any resistance, gurgling along the way, splashing and bubbling along the way, carefree. And yet it brings such rejoicing. The birds come and drink and play and wash in the water. The sun reflects onto the surface of the water, and through the water the rays of the sun shine through, nourishing the plankton and the fish. And as it flows, it nourishes the land and the fields that surround it. This is the blooming of the source. Which source we know as I, this aware presence. Not I, a body-mind that appears to me, but the only I there is, which we know as I am. I am aware. Thoughts, sensations, and perceptions, like the flower buds on a flowering tree, are numerous. Playful. You have the potential within yourself to recognize the source, the reality of your being, and the reality of your experience. It is hidden in full sight, aware presence that we know as I am, and the world body mind, which appears to us at zero distance from the awareness which I am. The separate doer appears to you as a thought, a belief, and a feeling. Like the blink of the firefly. It lights up and then it fades away, lights up again and fades away. You are not that which lights up and fades away. When you look for the separate doer, the separate thinker, the separate me, you only find seamless, transparent awareness. Borderless, absolute. The freedom of being, the joy of being. Which is the light that shines in the darkness, that nourishes, feeds, and heals. And enlightens. When you do not discriminate between what appears to you and you, in that you are the reality of that which appears. You may mistake your experience to be composed of two realities: the reality of consciousness and the reality of the world, body, mind. The blooming rose that blooms out of the rose bush somehow is how the rose bush smiles, it shines. It's creativity, it's beauty, it's scent, the perfume of love. So if you have any questions, please make sure to unmute your mic. Just a comment that the format of these meetings is for us to be together in the initial part of this meeting. And once this initial part of the meeting is over, we could go into questions. So we don't need to write 20 questions. It can be distracting. We can wait until the first part of the meeting is over. So any questions?
Hello, Magdi. It's Marga.
Hello, Marga.
I listened to a video that you sent that I wasn't present at, in which you spoke with Maria about being with her feelings, or one being with their feelings, and that it wouldn't hurt you, and that it was a good thing. She was talking about things like anxiety. It was an interesting conversation because it came about like through the fear of living was her wording, and then it shifted to depression, flipping to anxiety. And I just wanted to ask about the separate body mind I'm coming to see as insane with what it thinks and believes, and it's very subtle sometimes. And the way I can unravel it is by having a feeling that's uncomfortable, like I guess a word might be grief, sort of, or loss, not death, but loss of, the things that life has us lose that sometimes we attach to. And sometimes I feel like I'm responsible for the loss, like something I did could have been better, or it wouldn't be gone, or it's insane, really, when I see it. And what helps me discover the subtle belief there is discomfort with a feeling. So sometimes, some days, there's just a feeling of sadness or grief. So thinking about like that flower that blossoms and smiles, that's beautiful. I love that. But it's also a world in which, a squirrel gets run over by a car, and there's a little squash squirrel in the street. And sometimes it seems like our lives are that way too, where it's beautiful. And somehow there's beauty in the death too, strangely, but maybe I'm grasping at wanting it to be different, or I'm trying to learn through my feelings, I guess is what I'm saying. And when you spoke to her about that, I'm recognizing there's something there that I often can go to the big spacious place and kind of avoid these feelings maybe. And maybe now I'm starting to have the courage to sit with it being yucky for a bit and try to learn from that or see more clearly.
Yeah, Marga. So try to get away from the feelings or fix the feelings or get to a better feeling. Doesn't address the root, doesn't go to the heart of the matter. So there are two things, like feelings arise. They refer to they refer to me, my family, my neighbors, my tribe, my culture, my body, my whatever, it refers to me in one way or the other. The feeling has behind it the referent, the me. So there is thinking that is appearing, is arising, is occurring. It's not personal, it's just appearing to us. But within the thinking, within the thoughts it's appearing, there is a reference, there is a belief within the thoughts that are appearing, within the thinking that's appearing. There is the invisible ink. You are Marga. You are a daughter, mother, sister, but you are somebody, teacher, and you are doing things better, and you, Marga, well, you had a really difficult upbringing, and then you had a good events, and you, Marga, the body mind, you're in good relationship, a bad relationship, etc. So there's this invisible ink within the thought that says you are Marga. And so now you are this separate, you are this one rose. You're no longer the entire realm. You are this one rose, and goodness, how long am I going to last? Wait a minute, Jesus, a rose over there. It was the next branch was 2 weeks. Am I gonna be 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I hope 3 weeks. Am I gonna be cut? I noticed they cut the other one. They put it in a vase. Is this what's gonna happen to me? As soon as you are this particular separate person, it's inevitable to have feelings. I mean, it's inevitable. There will be feelings and emotions. Emotions would be feelings on steroids. It would be like, how could this happen to me? But it's just in the same category. So then the question, well, what do I do about that? How do I live with those feelings? So obviously they're there, the feelings are there. And at the mind level, already there is a position. The position is via thinking, via thought, that they shouldn't have done to me, or they shouldn't have done that to me, or my God, why is this happening to me? What's happening to my body? What's happening to my money? What's happening? There's already a position that's already has a judgment in it, that it has the good and bad in it already, which is mental. I mean, thought is mental. But although it is mental, we feel it, meaning it's also the atoms and the molecules and the synapses are firing throughout the body, and the heart pumping. It's not separate. It's all happening together. So at the body mind level, at the feeling level, at the sensory level, this hidden, invisible ink messages are reverberating within the body. Now, we often say in our meetings that all events are neutral, they're impersonal. Then the question arises, well, if it's impersonal, meaning like the weather, then who cares? I mean, okay, it's a rainy day. All right, well, if I have to go out, well, I take the umbrella. If I have an umbrella, well, I'll run to the car, so I won't get too wet. But in the end, who cares? Really, who cares? If it's impersonal, who cares? But what makes it personal? What makes it personal is, darn, why is it raining? I don't want it to rain. I had a plan to go swimming, and I cannot go swim under the rain. I had the plan to go, for a walk, and I cannot go for a walk in the rain. So there is a resistance. Rather than, oh, it's raining. Well, I guess I won't go for a walk today. I'll just read this book that a friend of mine mentioned, this book that they enjoyed. Let me take a look at it, or whatever. So that's available to us. It is available to us to be the flow. And we don't know ahead of time what's going to be next moment, what's going to be tomorrow, what's going to be day after. We don't know. We have plans. Of course we have plans. We plan. We love to plan. This is part of the human, capacity of planning. But then the world happens the way it happens. I don't know. It may rain, may snow. You may be in Italy and they shut down the whole country again. Here you are. Be the flow. Oh, why is this happening to me? I cannot take it. I've been here for so long. All these story thoughts with the invisible ink in it. Me, I am Magdi. I am this person. I am locked in. The body, me, I am the body, is in there. I am the body. 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 You know what? This freaking body has one destiny, and it's okay. Fine. Yes, we exercise it. We're careful with it. We nourish, the body as well we can, etc. But it's a thing like any other thing. Like all things, they're subject to impermanence, to change. But this does not mean that I is subject to change. That I, awareness, I, presence, that the reality that hears these words. It's not the body that hears these words. Through the body, through the auditory aspect of this body, I hear these words. The I that hears these words. It's not Marga. Marga is the name of the body. Magdi is the name of another body. Jenny, name of another body, etc. Name of the body. Now, who's going to come to this understanding? I have to come to this understanding. I need to understand. I need to get that understanding. And that understanding is available to me. I can come to this understanding and I can return to this understanding if I forget it. Because for so long I've been Magdi, I've been this body, I've been this boy, I've been this, oh my God, why did they do this to me? My father, my mother, my uncle, my aunt, my friends. And then this happened to me and that happened to me. And the story of the body mind. The story, every body mind has a story. We don't know what's around the corner. There may be more stories for the body mind. Every rose bush, if a rose may arise here or there, we may trim the rose bush. Every body mind, every volcano, every mountain, every river, every stream, every bird, every universe, every galaxy, it's all in flux and flow. It's the beauty of creation, creativity. This is creation. But there is one thing, but not a thing, which is not created, which is consciousness, awareness. This is an ultimate reality. You can go from iteration to iteration. At some point, you're going to arrive to this one reality. And we know from our experience that there is a reality here, although our conversation here, Magdi and Marga's conversation, might be a dream conversation. Could be. Could be that right now we are in a deep dream. Although it could be that this conversation is dream conversation, still there is a reality. It's something that perceives your dream when you're dreaming at night and you're perceiving that you've traveled to Rome or you traveled to Paris. You spent 10 years living in Paris and had a wonderful time in Paris. And when you wake up, you realize that you were dreaming these dreams. You, the dreamer, Paris was not real. The character in the dreams were not real, but still there was a reality, which is the reality of consciousness. You, the dreamer, you're perceiving this dream. You created this dream and perceived it. You created and perceived it moment by moment. Every moment you're creating and perceiving. The I that creates and perceives, we know it. We know it because we are it. I know I am. When you say I know I am, and I say I know I am, it's not two different I ams. It's one I, one amness. One amness. Feelings appear to you, like the weather. Consider feelings to be an internal weather. And flow with the weather. Flow with the weather meaning, if it's raining, put on an umbrella. If the feelings are overwhelming, take a break, relax, rest, breathe, allow the feeling, okay, wait a minute, this strong wind, I'm just gonna relax, allow the wind. It passes. Look at the weather. It never stays the same. It changes, even minute by minute is changing. If we have the instrument that's very, 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 very sensitive instrument, we could notice the change from second to second. But of course, the body mind is not a very, very, very fine instrument, so we don't notice. Oh, today is a nice day, we say. It's okay. But the point is that
for a little clarification. I don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry. So if feelings arise and they're like the weather, it seems like to me there's the belief in self for the feelings to come, but is that not so? If you're just flowing,
yes,
feelings still arise,
right?
Just because we're in a body mind, or do they just get less?
Well, the two things. Yes, the feelings do arise because of the me aspect. Believing that I am Magdi, I am Marga. Yes, but now that the feeling is on board, okay. Now that if and when the feeling is on board, we can be with the feeling as openness. Say, okay, fine, it's on board. All right. Why? How come? Okay, why? Because I've got a certain pattern about, I get irritated when people don't say thank you. Whatever. I mean, I'm just being silly. So now it's on board. There is a different way of being with it now. Okay, you cannot go back and erase the fact that your feelings got hurt. Okay, you got hurt. So, but now that that's on board, you can be open with it. Meaning, notice that, in fact, what is happening is a neutral event. There is a neutral event happening within your body-mind. Call it a sensation. Call it a pink sensation. And then there is a purple sensation. There is a yellow sensation. There is a ochre sensation. It's an event. When you consider that what is happening is just an event, you're not going to battle with it, a neutral event. You're not going to battle with it. As soon as you enter in battle with it, meaning to fix it or to accept it or to resign yourself to it or to get rid of it or to find who the heck caused it, or as soon as you enter in a separate relationship with a feeling, you are maintaining the sense of separation. And it is the sense of separation to start with that is that invisible ink, in the invisible message that I am a separate self. I am Marga, I am the separate person. So anytime that you engage in a dualistic relationship with yourself, you will experience a feeling and as you maintain this relationship of being separate with yourself, that feeling will be maintained and will morph. But at any time that you switch from having a separate relationship with the feeling to simply being, like the wide open sky is with the clouds or with the rain, or as soon as you switch to being, it's like you unplug the fan, you know. It may spin a little bit, but because there isn't the juice, it's gonna come to a stop. So the two aspects of working with the feelings. First, to comprehend, to understand that at the origin of feelings, there is a falsehood, a false separation. I am Marga, I am this body-mind. As soon as I am a separate self, the potentiality of feelings is right there. Maybe everything is okay and somebody says, I'm going to call you at 10 o'clock and they call you at 10:30, boom. Well, I'm being silly, but you follow what I mean. You know, the potential of a feeling and of an emotion is there. The feeling is tied in, feelings are tied in with the belief that I am me. I am me. And in a way, we are so habituated to this feeling. Yeah, of course I'm me. Yeah, I'm me. I'm a nice guy. People like me. My children, I have a good relation with my children. But, you know, we like, in to a certain extent, we have a little bit of a romantic relationship with my story, with me. You know, we like me. We're like, yeah, my family, yeah, I'm good. I'm a good person. I'm generous. I'm kind. But it's still the me story. It's still me. And this me is, although it's like habituated, we are habituated to it. It is a potential. It's like it has a potential of
the landmine.
And loneliness, the potential of the unhappiness is there, you see. So that's at the core of all feelings, is the sense of me, the sense of me. And obviously, you are not the sense of me. You are the awareness. You are the reality that hears these words. Obviously, you are not something that you perceive. Obviously, you're not. You're not the sensation or the body that you perceive or you experience. Obviously, you're not that. You're not the car that you take care of. You're not the house. You're not the children. You're not the mother. Obviously, you're not that. You are the awareness. And when a feeling arises, we have the sadhana, the possibility of being the presence with the feeling. And presence doesn't perceive anything outside of itself. It perceives everything like we are right now. Sort of, it's sweet, it's easy, it's not trying to fix anything. And of course, presence is intelligence. in presence when we perceive, oops, the pasta may overcook, we shut off the heat of the pasta and we drain the pasta so it doesn't overcook. There is the intelligence of, gee, my neighbor seems to be upset. You know, I said hello, they didn't reply to me. Oh, I wonder what's going on. Maybe I will ask them, hey, how are you? What's going on? Is there any issue? You know, there's intelligence. So it's dynamic. It's not like presence is just like a blank state. It's alive, it's dynamic. But it knows when to don't touch the doo-doo. Don't, you know, we don't need to, you know, we don't need to go into, oh, why did they do this to me and they shouldn't and they should have, and it doesn't do that. That's not intelligent. It's not intelligent to maintain separation, to feed separation, to maintain the belief in a separate personal self and a separate personal self here, a subject and an object. It's not intelligent. Why? Because we have investigated. We've investigated our experience and we have come to a certain understanding based on our investigation that I is awareness, consciousness, and that this consciousness is not being generated by thought. Thought appears in it. That which appears in awareness isn't generating awareness. It's not. The tree, when you see an oak tree, you perceive the oak tree. The oak tree is not creating the perception. It is being perceived. So there is an understanding via our investigation that I refers to awareness, consciousness, and it's not personal, it's universal. If it's universal, there's same consciousness across all body minds, same consciousness, same awareness, the same. The two roses on the rose bush aren't fighting each other. They don't even know the sense of separation. We don't even know the sense of separation. So we need to contemplate the reality of our experience, come to the understanding, and to the extent possible, live according to the understanding. Be that which you are, the openness of being, the spaciousness of being, the wisdom, the love. Nothing personal. Love is universal. Freedom, beauty. We are that, and just to sort of allow it to shine, not to retract into me, my this, my that. Just now feel, be. Body minds go through all sorts of events. You as presence, as awareness, you drive your car, your car at some point it's a flat tire or needs oil change or whatever. Yeah, you do what you can, you take care of it as best you can. Okay, so, but you remain, you're not your car. You say you're not your car. Go. Any questions? Hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. Just gratitude. It's, I mean, I maybe always say the same boring thing, but it touches me so deeply. And I'm just grateful. It's quite amazing, this beauty and generosity and space. And some days ago, I listened to a recording, one of your meditations, and something inside just, I don't know how to describe it, but just the bottom of myself expanded a little bit. There was like a bump inside, an expansion. And since then, I started dreaming, which I normally don't do. And it's just very interesting, the whole thing. And there's just life moving and just gratitude. And I can recognize as a wave, I felt often sorry for the ocean, that it was burdened to move me. It sounds crazy.
You know, God loves to create, you know. So, I mean, look, you know, how the seasons, you know, come, and every season brings so much creativity, the snow, the winters, and the wind and the ice and the sunshine and fruit trees that bloom in the spring. And oh, it's and yeah, we like to play and create. We like that, you know, we enjoy that, you know. We know we when we are children, we can't wait to go play, you know. And then after playing, we're hungry. We want to know what mom has cooked, you know, to taste all this yummy food. And when we are not in the way of life, then there is great beauty. Being in the way is believing that you are separate, that you are this personal body mind, and you know, it's very unhappy and sad, and it's full of fear, the fear of ending and the sense of lack. And it is saying that fearful people are to be feared, you know, that in other words it propagates the fear. And but you know, you know, the birds, they sing, you know, they fly and they sing for everybody, everywhere. They just fly and they sing and they land on this branch and that branch. And the song of the bird is so beautiful. It's never the same. It's always fresh, and it's always singing the majesty and the creativity of consciousness, and the freshness, the innocence, the beauty. It's always singing that. And every moment our life is this song that unheard, never heard before. This song of the bird in this moment, every moment is that. It's that. like the water that flows out of a spring. Every drop of water that flows out of the spring is freshness never flowed before.
And simply by not resisting, it just becomes beautiful, no matter what it is.
Yes, absolutely. You know, we don't resist, and at some point there isn't the complete potential of any resistance is extinguished. Not just the whole possibility of resistance becomes completely moot, because resistance is an illusion. How can you resist anything? How? You cannot resist that which you don't know. You're only resisting that which you know. And that which you know is already on board. It's too late to resist it. So there is an imaginary aspect to resistance, which is connected with the imaginary resistor, that which resists. And there's nowhere to be found. That which resists, nowhere to be found. So it's imaginary resistance by an imaginary resistor. So all of resistance is imaginary, but we still speak of resistance. We say, because the belief is still on board that there is a me, we say, okay, as a compromising way, we say, okay, rest as presence, rest as presence, relax, rest as presence. But there is nobody to rest as presence. We are the presence. Presence doesn't know rest or no rest. It's both restful and active. It's both the complete stillness of being and the creativity, infinite creativity. But there's no issue, not an issue, not any issue whatsoever anywhere in that realm. Issues are just mental. It's a mental realm. The issues are mental. It's a mental, physiological. But the physiological and the mental are just words, they're just words to refer to what? To unhappiness. But when the clouds appear and the sunshine is no longer shining onto the surface of the lake, or when the clouds part and the sun reaches the surface of the lake, it's the same. It's the same. But having said that, of course, because of the belief in separation, which is part of the dream, believing that we are a character, a personal character, overlooking the totality, the indivisibility of consciousness. So then we speak about unhappiness as if it is real, but it's a dream conversation we're having within the dream about the dreamer. But we are, that which is having this conversation is the dreamer. The dream characters don't exist. They cannot have a conversation. It is the dreamer through the dreamer that the so-called dream characters have a conversation. Seemingly different birds singing different songs.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So I know that Umer is not here now. I don't think he is. But he wrote a question. What is beyond consciousness, and why should we care for consciousness if there is something beyond it? Well, Umer, there is nothing beyond consciousness. By consciousness, I refer to the reality of being, that which truly perceives, that which truly is consciousness. We use the word consciousness, Brahman, presence, awareness, God, absolute reality, non-dual reality, etc. Sooner or later, the buck has to stop somewhere. If you say that A is caused by B, and B is caused by C, and C is caused by D, and D is caused by E, blah, 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 eventually you're going to have to stop somewhere. And where you stop is consciousness. You end with consciousness, you end up with consciousness. So there is nothing beyond consciousness. And therefore you ask, why should we care for consciousness if there is something beyond it? There is nothing beyond it. And you should not really care about consciousness. What makes more sense, maybe this is what you mean by caring about consciousness, is to wonder on what basis do you believe that you are Umer? On what basis do you believe that you are that which you perceive? On what basis do you believe that you are the body-mind which appears to you? It appears to you as sensations, as perceptions, as images, as memories. That which appears to you, although it appears to you at zero distance from you, meaning that which you observe appears at zero distance from the observer, does not mean that that which appears to you defines you or knows you. That which appears to you is limited in that it's constantly changing, and it's, if it's the body, the 10-year-old body of Umer and the 20-year-old body of Umer are two completely different bodies. The thought that appeared to you, or the feeling or the image that you had of yourself when you were a 6-year-old, 12-year-old, 20-year-old, 30-year-old are different. So obviously that which appears to you cannot be that upon which you should base yourself in knowing yourself. There is only one candidate for self-knowledge, and that is I awareness, I consciousness. That which does not change, that which does not come and go, that which is independent of time and space. The same I that perceived the sunrise this morning is the same awareness that perceives the sunset this evening. So maybe that's what you mean by caring about consciousness. So yes, recognize yourself as this transparent aware presence, the reality that perceives right now. And as you, on occasion, maybe many occasions, overlook that knowingness. In other words, whenever you adopt the model that you are the body-mind, that you are Umer, or that you're a son, a brother, an engineer, whatever, whenever you assume yourself to be the body-mind, this is when you need to care about consciousness. This is when you need to return, in a way of speaking, to this aware presence, the reality that perceives. And God is very generous. She never leaves us, meaning awareness is always there. Anytime you choose to turn your attention to presence, rather than turn yourself to your feelings and perceptions and emotions and sensations and stories and what's happening in the world and what's happening to me and when is the COVID going to be lifted up and when is my body going to get better. As soon as you decide to turn your attention to presence, it's right there. But they say closer than close. Any questions?
Hello, Magdi.
Mina, how are you, Mina?
I'm okay. I think I came too late. Did your time change?
Oh.
Because here in Switzerland it's 11 o'clock.
Here it is in Southern California. It's 3:15 p.m.
Ah, so you changed your time.
It changed, yes. On Sunday.
That's why I'm too late.
On Sunday.
I'm sorry. But I have a question or I have a problem or I don't know how to tell it because it is right that you told now. It's exactly what you told. And I was very caught in these daily problems, in things that when I fall back into this position of this so-called person that doesn't exist, and then to this person are linked many problems, this doesn't function. I also listened to satsang of 2 days before, and it was also the theme of COVID, and you cannot go there, you cannot do this, you cannot see your friend, and all this stuff has come also up. And it is sometimes in this moment very, very, very difficult to come out of it. It is like you are with glue, you are put in this position. And something in me knows exactly that I'm not that.
Yes.
But this other thing is there, stuck, and cannot come out.
Yes. Right. Yeah. You know, what's coming to mind is Francis sometimes used to say about relationships. He used to say that when we are alone, we want to be in a relationship, and when we are in a relationship, we want to be alone.
Yes. I know.
But, you know, if we could, when we're alone, just celebrate, explore what the various possibilities of various things that we can enjoy being alone, and when we're in a relationship, and explore and be in the relationship, say yes to what is unfolding for us. You will find, I mean, now of course with the COVID, it's sort of a situation that is pushing our buttons in a big way, let's say. But if you look at our life, it is in maybe less noticeable way than now. It is full of resistance, in relationship with our partner, with our children, with our neighbors, with our people in our town, with our politicians. If you take a look, you will find that lots of our life is, resistance and seeking, meaning not wanting, somehow not wanting this, wanting something else, and not wanting the resistance and wanting something else, to seeking. So in a way, this situation right now, let's say with the COVID or situation in the world, is sort of bringing a lot of our attention to that. And it's like rubbing our nose in a way in it. So from the perspective of reality, of truth, the peace of being is not a theoretical thing. The reality of peace, the reality of happiness, that which is real, is completely undisturbed and undisturbable, cannot be disturbed. But this doesn't mean, this is not talking about the personal mind. Because the personal mind, your mind, my mind, his mind, her mind, is full of conditions. depending on your upbringing, depending on your history, depending on the experiences you had in the past. It's full of conditions. Okay. And we believe in our conditions, we believe in our opinions, we believe in our whatever we believe in. But the core belief that we all share in ignorance is I'm me, you're you. I am Magdi, you're Nina. I live in this country, you live in that country. But it's not true from the perspective of consciousness. Consciousness doesn't live in this place or that place. Consciousness is not inside this room or inside this village or inside this house or inside this body. That's not your experience. Your experience of consciousness, of awareness. In this moment, this appearance, this perception is appearing to you. You're not appearing inside the perception. Hearing this voice, this hearing is appearing within you. You don't appear inside the hearing. The sensation of your feet on the ground. That sensation. You are not inside the sensation. You're not defined by the sensation. You're not defined by a thought that you perceive, the thought, oh, what a beautiful day, or oh, what a dark day, or the thought, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow. These thoughts are just appear to you. That which appears to you doesn't define you, doesn't know you. When you perceive the oak tree in the yard, you perceive the oak tree, you know the oak tree, but the oak tree doesn't know you, The thought that you perceive, supposedly about me, the thought about Mina, about Mina's life, Mina's future, Mina's family, Mina's whatever. The thought that appears to you knows nothing about you. The thought that says, what is happening to you? It's as if this thought knows something about you, because it's saying, what's going to happen to you? It's a joke. I perceive the thought. The thought is like a dance of sounds, dance of music. I perceive it. How does the thought know anything about me, about I? Nada, nothing, absolutely nothing. But yet, if you look in our life, the thought arises, oh my God, what's going to happen to me if COVID lasts another 6 months? It's a thought, right? It appears as what's going to happen to me. So the thought that's appearing is saying what's going to happen to me. So inside the thought, what is going to happen to me? There is a me. So it's like the thought is speaking about me, while the thought does not know anything about me. But if I believe the thought, meaning if I believe, oh, this thought knows something about me, meaning the me that's inside the thought is the real me. If it is speaking about me, it has to be speaking about the real me. Right? It has to speak about the real me. So if I assume that the thought somehow is a magical thought and it knows the real me, then I am no longer me. I'm inside. I'm the me in the thought. I am the me that's in the thought.
or I believe this is my thought.
Or if I believe this is my thought. Okay.
Yes.
So this thought arises, I believe this is my thought. I cannot deny that I perceive this thought. Right? I cannot deny that right now I perceive this perception. So I could say, this is my perception. I'm okay with that because I'm perceiving this table. You're not perceiving the table. You're perceiving a couch, for example. So I could say this perception is my perception. I could say it's my perception. But what is the I? When I say my, I'm referring to I, right?
Yes.
So I say, okay, it is my perception. What is the I that is perceiving? I agree that this is my perception. But what is the I that perceives?
Yes, I believe this is I, me, Mina that perceives, but it is not Mina.
Absolutely not. It's I awareness, because Mina appears
in that.
It appears in that as sensation. For example, the sensation. Also, Mina appears in that as images. And appears as, if you look, it appears as perception. So yes, these are my thoughts, but not the thoughts of the body. Not the thoughts of, the body is called Magdi. My mom, she's Egyptian, she's called me Magdi. She called this body Magdi, okay, when the baby was born. She said, oh, this is gonna be Magdi, okay. So, yes, these are my perceptions. This is my perception, but not the perception of Magdi. There's only one perceiver. But Magdi, there are a million Magdis. Which one is Magdi? The 5-year-old boy? The 12-year-old boy? The 20-year-old boy? The 6-year-old boy? Man? Or boy? Which one is Magdi? Is Magdi this Magdi now, or this Magdi from 5 minutes ago, or Magdi from 10 minutes ago? Which one is Magdi? Because that body is constantly changing. The thoughts constantly changing. Which, you see, when you say Mina, what do you mean by Mina? Mina is a billion Minas.
Yes.
But there is one consciousness.
Yes.
That which perceives is I. The I that appears in the thought is a false I. Thought arises, says, what is going to happen to you tomorrow? Consciousness, I perceive this thought. I, consciousness, perceive the thought. And I look at the thought, I say, wow, that's an interesting thought. It's, when I look at the thought, it's like I'm looking at the wind or at the bird, because that's what it is. A thought is a neutral event, is a cosmic event.
Yes.
The me inside the thought is not I, consciousness.
Yes.
Now, you have to make up your mind. What are you? Because thought is, and feelings are saying, you are Mina, you're inside the house, you're locked down, your mother, your body, your money, your food. It's, you know, and then there is the I that perceives all these thoughts, my thoughts. They're my thoughts, the I that perceives all these thoughts. Which one are you? Are you that which is inside the thoughts and inside the emotions, inside the feelings, or are you this awareness? You have to make up your mind. From your own experience, what does your experience say?
I think it is very clear, but it is like a habit. It is like a habit that
Yes.
it is like I have put years and years a mask from a monkey.
Yes.
And I think I am this monkey, and you tell me, please put off this monkey. You are here.
It takes 1 second to remove the mask.
Yes, but it is like this habit that you cannot believe it. Something in you cannot believe it, or in me.
You know, I like to think of consciousness as the sun, and ignorance as a candle. Maybe it's not a good metaphor, but in being subject to the thoughts and the feelings is very unhappy, not just for you, but is unhappy.
Yes.
all around. And you cannot bargain with truth. If the reality of your experience is that I is awareness, this moment, that which perceives this moment is awareness, effortlessly. I don't do any effort to hear these words. I don't do any effort. But that if your experience is that, you cannot disregard that. You cannot disregard your experience. Say, well, that doesn't matter. You follow me now?
Yes.
You can say, no, that doesn't. No, you know. Let me go back to being a mother or being a daughter. Yes, the body is a mother or a daughter or whatever, a partner. Yes. But you are not the body. You manage the body. You feed the body. You respond in a graceful way, an intelligent way to the body. It's the same way. Then when it rains, you respond in a smart, intelligent way by you close the windows, so the rain doesn't come inside in the house. Or if you go out, you take the umbrella. It's the same thing.
Yes, the last time when you spoke with me, you told me also this all is happening spontaneous, and all is not happening like we think it will happen. But there is also, with this belief in this wrong idea, there is also this, oh, I have to manage that, and then I have to change that, and how can I change this situation? How can I make that? And this is like never ending. This thought pulls another and another and another. And so I'm like lost in this.
Yes. So,
and it's, yes.
So there is a practical aspect in life. Like if the meal you are cooking needs another 10 minutes, you have to wait another 10 minutes for the meal to cook. If your car is low on fuel, you have to plan to put some fuel.
Yes.
If your car is getting old, you have to plan on when you're going to buy a new car, you have to save some money for the car and look, etc. If you have an issue with your neighbor, you have to plan of how to talk with your neighbor and find out what the issue is. If there is an issue with the body, you have to see, what is the issue with the body, study what the problem is with the body, see some people who know. And there is a practical aspect in life.
Yes.
And we don't know it. We don't know if tomorrow, how it's going to unfold. We don't have a crystal ball. But in the moment, every moment, we have some information. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. My partner and I, we are hungry. Okay, we're going to cook something, if we are tired and now we feel tired. We don't know ahead of time. I didn't know 2 hours ago that I was going to be tired now. But now I feel tired, so I rest. Now I feel, I'd like to go out, go for a walk or travel. I'd like to take 2 days off, 2 days go. I feel like going, to go to the ocean for 2 days. I didn't know yesterday that I was going to have that thought. So now the thought appears. So I say, okay, Tara, let's plan. Let's see if we can take a couple of days off. Can we, etc. But it doesn't have anything to do with happiness. It has to do with the flow, the flow of life.
Yes.
So if I go to the gas station to fill up gas and the gas station is closed, okay, and I run out of fuel, oh boy, is my happiness disturbed? No. Am I inconvenienced? Yes, I am inconvenienced. The body mind is inconvenienced. I have to call now my friend, say, hello, do you have a jerry can of fuel? Please come and help me out. Am I unhappy? No. Am I inconvenienced? Yes. Am I inconveniencing my friend? Yes. So I would buy a box of chocolate. Tomorrow I will bring you a box of chocolate. Say, hello, thank you. It's a box of chocolate. So the key thing is my unhappiness. My happiness does not depend on those things.
Yes.
There may be inconvenience. There may be, I don't know, some degree of inconvenience, but not the happiness. So in life, the key thing in life is that, yes, there are a lot of things to manage, but they appear not all together in one time. If everything appeared together in one time, we could not function. Things appear in a certain order. Now there is this, and there is that, and there is this, and there is that. You see? And if it's too much, we say, okay, it's too much. I'm sorry, I know we're supposed to have dinner together, but I need to cancel. I have been very busy for the past week. I would like to take a day, relax, you see. It does not have to do with happiness.
Yes.
When the thought arises, if I want to go for 2 days to the beach, and I cannot go, it rains. There's bad rain every day. The weather says you cannot go to the beach. And now I am miserable. That's not being with the flow.
Yes.
That means my happiness
depends on outside.
Claro, I put a condition.
Yeah.
Nobody forced me. Nobody forced me. Anybody forced me? Nobody forced me. But I impose a condition that my happiness depends if I go to the beach. If I don't go to the beach, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to be miserable for 2 days. Who forced me to do that? Nobody. Yes? Nobody.
Yes.
So then we wonder, well, wait a minute, why am I miserable? Who's making me miserable? What is, why? So I realized, oh, it's just my own game. I am doing this out of my freedom. It's my freedom. I am free to be miserable.
Yes.
And if you are free to be miserable and you say, okay, I want to be miserable, I mean, okay. I mean, it's your freedom. It's your freedom as consciousness. To limit yourself, to make conditions, or to say, I will only be happy if I stay young forever. I knew somebody like that. I knew. Oh my God. It's true. I knew somebody like that. Anyways, what can we do?
I prefer to stay always as consciousness, as awareness.
You already are. You don't need to, you already are. I mean, how can you be anything else than consciousness? You already are. That's done. Just what we do is we choose to be something else. You don't need to choose to be consciousness. Just don't choose to be something else. Don't choose to put conditions.
Yes.
You don't need to choose to be awareness. You already are. You already are. The proof is you hear these words. You perceive this perception.
When I listen very much Ramana Maharshi, and he is speaking of that this ego is rising, and this ego is formless, and it rises, it takes form and shape of this body as I, and then it takes the other shapes also as something, and the point is that to turn like that within, that to recognize in this moment, the ego recognizes that he is shapeless, then it disappears, and it is like forever seen what is the truth. But this is for me the question, that something in me knows that, but it is going in and out and going in and out, and it is not stable at this place, stable in the place of awareness. You know what I want to say?
Yes. Just a little comment that the ego doesn't recognize anything. The ego is the ego doesn't recognize anything. Recognition, perception, understanding, knowingness belong to consciousness, belong to awareness. Awareness never leaves itself. It never actually becomes something else. It doesn't, the limitless doesn't become limited. So in your night dreams, you are the dreamer. You dream that you are an ant, or you dream you are an elephant, or you dream you are an ant and then you are an elephant, then you're an ant. The ant is so small, the elephant is so big. But you, the dreamer, you don't actually become small and then actually become big and actually become small again, right?
Yes.
In fact, there is no ant and there is no elephant. Why? Because when you wake up, there is no ant and no elephant. So when you dream that you are a 10-year-old or you're a 10-year-old girl, and then you grow up, you're 20 and 30 and 40, and you have all sorts of experiences, relationships, friends, you go to school, you travel, you have relationships, you taste different foods. You are this character in the dream. You're experiencing all these things. They are very real for you from the perspective of the character you're in the dream. And then you hear a message. A thought appears to you, or something appears to you. More than a thought. It's not a thought. I take it, it's not a thought. You have an experience. It's actually not even an experience. But let me say it's an experience, but it's not an experience. Where you have a flash, a lightning, that you are not this dream character. Have you seen the movie The Matrix?
Yes.
There was a scene in The Matrix, I don't know if you remember, where they're walking up the stairs in this building and there is a cat. It walks and then it repeats. It's sort of, there was a little glitch. And this guy looked at the cat and then saw the same cat again, repeating the same. Do you remember that? And anyways,
yes.
He had a glimpse. It was like, what was that?
Yes.
So you are this dream character and now you have a glimpse. Whoa, what's going on here? I am not this dream character. You get a flash of the entire dream. You realize, wow, this whole thing
It's a dream.
is a dream. And I am not this dream character. I am the dreamer.
Yes. And sometimes I have the feeling when I am this Mina that I am a person in this dream looking back and asking, who am I?
Yes. Yes. So this flash that you have changes your dream. You are still the dream character, but now there is something has changed.
Yes.
Before the flash, you were, you know, next I'm going to go to the movies, and now I'm going to go back to work, and I'm going to buy a nicer car, and I like this. I'm going to learn to cook this new meal, etc. But after the flash, you still are going to cook, you're still going to travel, but there's something that has changed.
Yes.
Something has changed. There's still the dream, but something has changed.
Yes.
What has changed is that you have a glimpse now of the entire of reality.
Yes.
The reality is it's dreaming all this. The reality is not in the dream. The dream is in reality, but reality is not in the dream. You have this flash, you have this understanding, but you still have habits.
Yes.
Not just habits in the dream of food and clothing and the body and the car and the children and the mother and whatever. Not just these habits. There is also the habit of being. I am this person.
Yes.
Not completely dead.
Yes.
There is a crack in the shell, but the shell hasn't. There is still. There's some light coming in. You see some light coming in, but not the full light.
Yes.
So now, the light that's coming in is, you know how in the old days before they had, in the modern age, they used to make fire by rubbing a stick. They rub a stick and they make a little fire in a teeny tiny fire. And they're very careful. Now you are like that.
Yes.
I'm not talking about you, I'm talking generically, you know?
Yes.
You have to now be very careful to keep this flame. To keep this flame. It is possible, and it does happen, often maybe, that as a metaphor, this flame
goes out. Yes.
Not completely, but almost.
Yes.
So in terms of it's not stable, the path, you don't go from zero to full light, but you can go from very little crack to opening. That's what matters.
Yes.
It's opening. Peace, more and more peace and happiness and openness. That's what. Not to, you say, oh, now I am here. Why am I not here like this?
Yes.
Or, why I am like this? Why I'm not like that? Now I am like that. Why I'm not like this? No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's the personal self. No. It's so beautiful. So, there's some difficulty. Yeah, sometimes I get reactive. Oh yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
You will find that, like you get on the canoe, the canoe. When first you will find the water to be, and then it will be less and less. And then at some point, then the water is like that. You are the canoe and the water is smooth, and then you are the river.
Yes. Yes.
Don't make a big deal of stuck. Don't look.
Yes.
Look at the glass half full.
Yes.
Look at the little fire, the little flame, the happiness, the peace. Honor the love, the peace, the happiness, the intelligence. not the worrying mind, not the concerned, not the feeling I'm feeling, and thinking what's then happening and this is tomorrow. And no. Just,
Yes.
so beautiful. Yes.
Thank you so much. It was very beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Well, so lovely to be with you all.
Thank you so much.
Million George, Marga, and Holger, Peter, Holly, Desmond, Zoe, Naomi, Kelly, Frank. Beautiful. Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magdi.